Welcome back, everyone. Glad to have you here on today's first Cabral HouseCall of the weekend, answering all of our community's questions each and every weekend. Excited to get into them. All things wellness, weight loss, anti-aging, everything in between. All right, so let's get started with our first question of the weekend. I really want to dive right in, be respectful of your time. Again, I appreciate you tuning in each and every weekend to our questions. So let's see what the first one is. I just opened up the giant document of questions, well over 5,000 questions answered now. And the first one is from Shirlita. There we go. I have suffered from BMS for 1.5 years. What should I do, doctor? What kind of specific doctor do I need? Thank you for your kind attention. All right, well, happy to help. So as you know, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. I'm not giving medical treatment plans or any type of diagnosis on this show. I'm a doctor of naturopathy. What I do is I help people find the underlying root causes of why they're sick, unwell, gain too much weight, can't gain enough weight, or they're aging at a much more rapid rate. That's what we do. We've been doing it for a long time now and have helped a lot of people. We're very, very grateful to be in that position. And we can help you as well. But if you want to go to a medical doctor for this, you'd probably want to go to see a ENT or an ear, nose, and throat doctor after you see your primary care physician. They would give you some type of referral. BMS, by the way, as long as we're on the same page, Shirlita, that it's typically stands for burning mouth syndrome. And I did a show already on burning mouth syndrome. I answered this before. And it is on, I'm just going to stephencabral.com/podcast and typing it in. And it is on episode 2137. So the reason why I mention this is because I want everybody, before they ask their question, to go to stephencabral.com/podcast and type in their keyword. And I say this because Shirlita wrote this in on February 27th, and it's now into May. And she could have got her question just so much sooner. That's all. So keep in mind, and Shirlita, you can listen to the other show as well, but burning mouth syndrome, in my experience, is typically connected to the nerves. It can often be a vagal nerve issue. It can be a high histamine issue. It's an inflammatory issue for sure. It can be related sometimes to TMJ, which again is related to inflammation and nerves. So there's a lot around it. Some people refer to it as almost like a fibromyalgia of the mouth. The way that we are able to help with this is that we look for the underlying root causes. So bottom line is we run the big 5 labs. We say, what's going on with the gut? What's going on with heavy metals? What's going on with food sensitivities? What do the hormones look like? And we really take it from there. So that's how we figure these things out. We don't try to say, hey, what's the protocol for burning mouth? Because the truth is that there are different protocols for migraines, burning mouth, thyroid issues, joint pain, etc., based on what underlying root cause it may be. There's not just one that leads to one thing. All right. So Shirlita, hopefully that's helpful. And all labs are at stephencabral.com/labs. You can run these right at home, or you can also meet with a local naturopathic doctor in your area or integrative health practitioner. Fiona says, scans show fatty liver, but I don't consume any alcohol. My diet is organic and plant-based with no processed foods. How is this possible? All right. So Fiona, I just answered this question last week, and it's called non-alcoholic fatty liver, sometimes called syndrome, because conventional medicine loves adding the word syndrome at the end of things. So it's on episode 2270, all right? So head on over to stephencabral.com/2270, and I have that full answer right there, all right? Because it can happen, and you're absolutely able, though, to overcome this as well, okay? And Anonymous is up next. Hi there. Firstly, thank you for all of your knowledge and wisdom you share. I've been working on healing my gut for about 3 months now, and I've noticed some changes like more energy, less cravings, better sleep. However, I'm still really struggling with my skin. My skin periodically gets this sort of rash that looks like sebaceous filaments and water retention. I know sebaceous filaments are natural, but they are not always this prominent. Are there foods that cause this? Also, I've noticed that I have a sensitivity to lectins, and a lot of the protein sources on the Dr. Cabral Detox are a bit high in lectins. I listened to your podcast on eliminating them for a while if one is sensitive and then reintroducing them later. How can I modify the detox so I can still get protein while avoiding lectins? Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah, happy to help with this. So when you eat plant-based foods in general, they're going to be higher in lectins than not plant-based foods because things like meat and fish, they're not going to have lectins. And so that just comes with the territory. But you have to ask yourself, are you really sensitive to lectins? Because some people are and some people aren't. Like most people aren't nearly as sensitive as they think, especially after they fix their gut. They've just been told by mainstream narrative that they should be or they are. So first, you want to see, are you actually? Second, the Equal Life Detox is you can just do it for 7 days. You don't have to do the full 21 days. And that's going to dramatically empty your rain barrel. Now, let's say you don't want to do plant-based proteins at lunch. Well, we do paleo-based proteins at dinner. So you can keep it vegan at dinner. But for someone like yourself, well, you might be doing fish at dinner. You might be doing some chicken, turkey, whatever you choose, right, at dinner. And if you needed to, well, you can make that lunch as well. It's better to do a functional medicine detox and modify it for you if you need to. Better to do it exactly as stated because that's how you're going to get the biggest benefits. But I understand. And if you need to modify it, well, you can certainly modify it. All right. And then in terms of the what you see is the sebaceous glands or filaments on the face, there's definitely people that are more prone to it. So can foods cause it? Sure. It could be like you don't do well with fried oils. So any cooked oil you don't do well with. And if you eliminate that for a week, does it get better? Well, maybe. You may not do well with certain types of protein, or maybe you do have a food sensitivity. These things are all possibilities. But the other is that you might be someone that's just more prone to clogging up those pores to a greater degree. Some people are. Some people produce more oil. Some people produce less. That's well known. So what you want to do is you make sure that your face is sweating on a near daily basis. And if you need to, use a facial steam, or you can use a sauna. You can sweat any way you want, but you want to clean out those pores naturally, which is sweating. And then once a week, you could also do a clay mask. Check out my shows on clay masks. All right. Thanks for writing in, Anonymous. Mariah is up next. I was just listening to your podcast and you said something word for word what I said to myself a year ago. I won't take antibiotics unless I'm dying. Last year, antibiotics caused me to catch a C. diff infection, and I've been so sick. The antibiotics they gave me to cure the C. diff didn't even work, and I got a second infection. I literally felt like I could have died. A local naturopath finally helped me heal my gut and repair my issues. Just wanted to say thank you for speaking out about the danger of unnecessary use of antibiotics. Thank you, Mariah. We're always happy to hear people write in with success stories. Very, very happy you saw our naturopath. Naturopaths, traditional naturopaths can be absolutely unbelievable at helping you get to those underlying root causes. So really, really happy about that. That is the thing. If you ever have issues with antibiotics, you want to go straight to the gut, and the mitochondria as well. So, a product like the advanced renewal system or just straight cell boost along with, let's say a CBO protocol with the citracidal drops plus the CBO finisher to really fix that gut can be a nice thing. And we recommend that as well, for sure. So thank you, Mariah, for writing in. Lisa's up next. Is it okay to use CBD oil while pregnant? I've been using CBD oil for 2 to 3 years to help me sleep at night, and I can't sleep well without it. Thoughts on taking it during pregnancy? Okay. Yeah, I've gotten this question a lot. So I am not advocating CBD or marijuana, cannabis, or even a lot of herbs in general while pregnant. And I've been on record for many, many years stating that. Herbs are medicine. So that's how I look at it. And if you don't need them while pregnant, I don't want to take any chances that some of that could affect your unborn child. However, I have not seen a lot of research to the contrary that low-dose CBD would, in fact, hurt your unborn child. I just always err on the side of caution. And instead, Lisa, I would, and again, if it was my own wife, I would look to use something more like magnesium before bed. I would look to a liquid melatonin before bed, low dose. I would look to maybe a chamomile tea. I know that's herbal based. I understand that. So there is that there. And maybe even a little bit of L-theanine. So that's more what I'd be looking towards. But I do agree that you need a good night's sleep and you need to be able to calm the mind and calm the anxiety, since high cortisol is not good either. So that is my take on it. Look for alternatives if possible. If not, lowest possible dose you could use. But again, I can't provide any medical advice, so that's not medical advice. And hopefully that's helpful. All right, Anonymous is up. And this is our last question for the day. We do 6 each Saturday, 6 each Sunday. So Anonymous says, I've been listening to your podcast for a while and I've been really helping a lot with health issues. And it's been really helping a lot with health issues. That's great to hear, Anonymous. In numerous podcast episodes, you mentioned that keto and long intermittent fasting isn't good for female hormones. I have extreme insulin resistance and I've had it for years. I've tried keto with vegetables for about 3 weeks now, along with intermittent fasting of 16 hours in order to try to reduce my insulin resistance, hair loss at my temples, and skin rash. However, I seem to be gaining more weight around the belly, even though I've not been consuming any carbs and other low glycemic vegetables. What could be causing this? I thought that belly fat, especially love handles, were caused by high insulin. Also, what method would you suggest for healing extreme insulin resistance for a female? Thank you so much in advance. Appreciate all of your wisdom and kindness. All right, Anonymous, thanks for the question. We help women with PCOS, estrogen dominance, low thyroid, high insulin all the time. I mean, this is one of the things that we specialize in. There's one main lab that you need to run, and it's the stress, mood, and metabolism. Ideally, Anonymous, you run the big five, because at some point, we're all sick and tired of being sick and tired. At what point are you saying, I need a plan built just for me? That's essentially the goal. And again, if you can't afford the big five, I totally understand. I couldn't either back in the day. And I started with what's called the starter kit, which is why I call it the starter kit, because that's what I started with. And so you can always start with the starter kit. That's fine, but try the starter kit with the stress, mood, and metabolism if at all possible. Look into Ayubowen, the Ayubowen program. Just go to stephencabral.com/Ayubowen. That's AYUBOWAN. You get a free minerals and metals test with that. We're just trying to help people the best way we can. We can help you to a greater degree if we actually know what the underlying root causes are, right? Is it high testosterone causing these insulin issues? Is it, high cortisol? So I go in depth on your exact, again, I don't have any issues with keto. I don't have any issues with long intermittent fasting. I have no dog in the race. It doesn't matter to me. I'm just here to help people, honestly. That's it. So if it worked great, I would recommend it. But it literally destroys, especially women, their metabolisms. That's what it does. That's what it does. And it's literally, there is a pathophysiology to how that happens. So what happens is you're increasing stress on your body by doing no carbs, right? It's hurting your gut microbiome. And the longer fast, putting you in a greater state of fight or flight, survival, famine. It's increasing cortisol. Cortisol does what? Well, it releases more glycogen. That's why you don't eat carbs. So I go through all of this in depth, and I'm going to give you the podcast. It is, that's it right there, 2280. It was just 3 days ago. So check it out, Anonymous, stephencabral.com/2280. And then after you listen to that, go to stephencabral.com/IF. Those are all my shows on intermittent fasting. It teaches you how to do intermittent fasting the healthy way for both men and women. All right. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I will be back tomorrow answering more of our community's questions.